on a philosophical side, what are we going to be doing? How are we going to spend our time? If we woke up today and everything was solved, let's say we had robots that were cleaning the streets and AI that was thinking for us and doing all that. As humans, what is our purpose going to be? Or would
Yeah.
that leave us more time to spend with our families? Would that mean we can do the things we love? Does that mean that we can create more time to focus on the things that really matter? You know.
Hey everyone, welcome to the AI podcast. Today, our guest is Neji Tao. He is the founder of PayTalk. By profession, he is a software engineer, but now he chose to go on his own route to experiment with conversational AI, and now he's running his own startup called PayTalk. Neji, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Awesome. First of all, if it would be awesome if you could tell us a little bit about PayTalk.
Okay. So basically, PayTalk is a platform that makes payments and purchases as simple as a conversation. The story around PayTalk started sometime in 2019, where I saw a video. I was watching TV and I saw an ad of a little girl picking food from the trash. And the ad said, if you can give $10 a month, it would help children living with hunger. So I felt moved and went online to try to donate. And I see this long form that you have to fill just to donate. At the same time, I was running late for work. So I ended up not having to make the donation. And on my drive to work, I was thinking, shouldn't there be a better way? Wouldn't there be a better way of making a payment just by saying it? So when I got home, I looked at my Alexa and I said, okay, what if I could say, hey, Alexa, send $20 every month to the Red Cross? And that's it. I tried it out, it didn't work. So I went ahead and built it. So my background is in software engineering. I've been building lots of solutions and apps for about 2 decades. So PayTalk started from that effort of trying to ensure that it'll be easy, like make it easier for people to actually pay and buy things. So with PayTalk, you can, through a simple conversation, you could say, hey, Alexa, get me coffee every morning by 8 a.m. And at 8 a.m., someone shows up with your coffee. You could say, hey, get me a flight ticket. Flight tickets is a very interesting use case on PayTalk because it takes 5 to 10 minutes for you to book a flight typically. But on PayTalk, you can do it in 30 seconds. You can say, get me a flight for 2 adults and 2 kids from Miami to Chicago for on this day, next week, Friday. So our platform uses conversational AI to sort of make it easier for devices like mobile smartwatches, like your Apple Watch, voice assistants, and the rest of them to understand and derive context from a conversation in relationships to payments or transactions you want to perform.
Awesome. If you could tell us a little bit about some of the aspects of the underlying technology without giving away the secret sauce, of course. How the conversational AI, what kind of conversational AI you guys are using, or the kind of language model you guys are using.
Well, PayTalk, we're basically using the standard conversational AI engines that you find, the NLU. We're more or less NLU. When we started out, we were doing more of the NLU thing. Like, so you have models trained by Google, the ones trained by Amazon, but we also injected in our own proprietary systems that allow for
Awesome.
the extra sort of like giving the extra abilities to this other system. So now, when GPT came out too, we also threw in GPT. So there's
Hmm.
features on PayTalk now where you could say, hey, find me. We've sort of married natural intent-based conversational AI with LLM-based conversational AI. And that's where we think our biggest strength is now, because on PayTalk, you could say, suggest a meal plan for someone with diabetes. And then you can instantly order that, whatever the LLM suggests, like you see on
Yeah.
ChatGPT. So we're bringing that on to shopping. We've also added support for multiple languages. So we're using a ton of models. Like there's a ton of we mix and match. We even have intent-based sentiment analysis models too that we have trained in house to sort of help us identify what the customer is saying and what the best match in terms of service that would be required for them. So yeah, pretty much that's it. That's how
That
much I can.
is
Yeah.
Yep, that is amazing. And you support Siri, and are you guys supporting other voice assistants like Google and Alexa as well?
Yes, in fact, we built out for Alexa first, and
Okay,
we're actually backed by Amazon. Amazon is also the Alexa Fund is also an investor in PayTalk. So Alexa is one of we say is our first order platform that we built out for. We're going
amazing.
through applications right now for them, and on the Alexa system, it is so cool because there's been a lot of Alexa got a lot of bad press. I'm sure you probably heard over the last 6 months
Yeah,
because people felt, hey, Alexa wasn't monetizable, but that's not true because what we have done with PayTalk is we've made Alexas really capable. So, for give you an example, you can tell when you have PayTalk on your Alexa, you could say, Alexa, get me coffee every morning at 8 a.m. And that's it. 8 o'clock, someone will show up from either Uber Eats, DoorDash, whichever platform that's fine.
yeah,
So that's when we talk about ambient computing, where the devices are sort of like intelligent. So we've implemented that capability, which is coming soon on the Alexa in the next couple of days. On Siri, we've done the same thing. Typically, Siri cannot if you talk to Siri, it's like, oh, Siri, order me food. You open up maps. But I
yeah.
can just, if you don't mind, I can just show you a small. You can hear the sound
Yes,
of
please.
that.
That would be awesome.
Say, if I was gonna, I have an iPhone here. So if I was gonna order food on Siri, I could say, hey Siri, order food on PayTalk. And here you hear, hey Siri, order food on PayTalk.
What would you like to order?
Pizza.
How many would you like?
3.
Would you like to pick it up or have it delivered?
Delivered. So
Where do you want this delivered?
and it's showing
Awesome.
me home. So I can have through a dialogue.
Yeah,
I can have a dialogue with Siri, and Siri now actually is able to order me food. So think about that busy mom who's driving, she's rushing home, and
yeah.
she has 300 hungry kids at the back seat, and she needs to order pizza to her house. So she doesn't need to touch her phone. She can actually do that while driving. So those are some of the things we brought on PayTalk that we think
Brilliant.
I really appreciate.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I think it's such a helpful app, and I'll definitely try it for myself as well
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
honestly. And speaking of large language models, let's sort of shift gears a little bit and talk about uh, AI and AI research, particularly because you have seen one episode of the podcast that is sort of what usually where I steer the conversation towards the research in AI. And speaking about LLMs, what is your thought on the current state of LLMs? And for a reference, I can refer to one article from Washington Post recently that says that ChatGPT is a bad JPEG file of human knowledge because it sort of inculcates some of the knowledge that we have as humans, but the information that you get out of it is not always the perfect representation of our human knowledge.
Well, yes, I would say LLMs, to me, in my opinion, it's an accumulation of, I would say since 1999, when the
Yeah,
internet became mainstream. What has been LLMs is an accumulation of what you and I, all of us, have actually put in there. So the good, the bad, the ugly, we've thrown that in,
yeah,
So, and large language models, more or less, in my opinion, I still see them as we're not yet there at the point where we have artificial general intelligence or AGI. I think
yeah,
I see them as this very massive, think about it like a shortcut to a library. So think about a library with a billion books in there. And rather than you go into query, you can actually ask it, okay, what is this? And then based on what's in those books,
yeah,
the pattern. So that's basically my understanding. And I think that's what they are. So um well, I think LLM so far a good thing. Like we have GPT integrated in PayTalk. We have it in Siri. So and from the perspective of productivity, I think it's also very neat. It's really cool that today you can do things like it's the next generation of what I call the calculator, where
yeah,
we had the scientific calculator. So now you have LLMs at that point. But the research, a lot of work still needs to be done around, which I'm glad. I think we're seeing that today around the ethical aspects. For example, you definitely want to have a few guardrails around what these uh, this should be allowed to do and all that. And
Yeah.
I think the next couple of years we'll see much more interesting systems. And of course, you know about Bard. Bard has from Google. Of course, Bing has added GPT into that, and then there's Lambda from Meta, and there's
Yeah.
a few of those two that are coming out. So, in my opinion, is a lot of research which is ongoing. Eventually, will lead to I think it will lead to a very positive outcome for us as humans, more productivity. In my opinion. I think Goldman Sachs had a report recently about the downside. Like every new technology, there's always the two sides of a coin. The downside is a lot of
Yeah.
jobs will be rendered, like if I'm a software engineer and I worry that my career is probably, my field is going to be obsolete soon because you're having things like Copilot, you're having all this. Soon you have LLMs that can write you a full app better than any coder can. So at that point, the question is now, what will humans be? What will we be doing? Like if most of our jobs are going to be taken
Yeah.
by AI. So that's where I think on the ethical part of things, that's where we need to go also focus on too.
That is one question I asked at the end of my podcast, the job impact of AI. But since you already sort of segued into that, I can ask you right now in a little bit of detail. In your opinion, what sectors of jobs will be gone first? Because, of course, we have started seeing that happening already. BuzzFeed fired a huge chunk of their reporters from the company because they're generating the news from using ChatGPT. At least the first draft and all those stuff, they're generating those using ChatGPT. So they've fired a huge chunk of their employees. And it has already started happening, which is not a good sign. But then again, we can be a little bit responsible and be a little bit sustainable where humans can be involved with AI. So, in your opinion, what kind of jobs will go first and what can we do about it?
Yeah. The thing is, this morning I woke up with this exact thought. And I think it's a very philosophical question at the end of the day, because it started with if you look at the last 100 years or last 200 years of human history, we were more of an agrarian civilization. We went into the industrial age and then information age. So I think it's going to go that way round. So what's happening is that AI is going to eliminate a lot of jobs in the information age created. Then when we have robots now that are smart enough to do manufacturing, do the work at home, it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs in the industrial age. So you'll have a lot of physical, like factory work, all that. You're going to find robots actually taking all that, which are powered by these LLMs.
Yeah.
Think about it. And then, so in my opinion, I think it's better we start having those conversations now and around what the ethical aspect should be in regards to jobs being taken, because I can't think of anything in our modern life today that AI may, in the near future, may not be able to do. So the question now is down, like, I don't think anyone's job is safe. I don't know. I think they have to have this conversation around the ethical use and the impact on society. That's the conversation we need to have. Like now, I can't even tell my kids, okay, go become a programmer like that, or go learn how to build games, because in 5 years, these things I write games anyway. So 5 years time, I don't know how it will be, but you have game studios now and just lay out concepts, and it would generate things like Unity 3D will soon be able to generate games for you. So where can you? I think what eventually this would mean is that creativity, because that's what I think machines will never be able to accomplish. That's human ingenuity, human creativity. I don't think machines can do that as well as we can. So I think the key would be we might see new emerging jobs in that area of creativity. So if you can create, then you would get you would have something on the table. But for the rest of the world, I don't know. Seriously, I don't know.
For instance, we have this. We researched in some aspects during my grad studies on something called Industry 4.0, which is data-driven manufacturing and all that stuff. And now in Europe, because it's a huge issue of Industry 4.0, because they don't want everything to be data driven, because of course we don't want humans out of the question, because if everything is data driven, of course your production, your manufacturing, whether it's physical or non-physical objects or softwares, I should say, would be really smooth, but then you are taking jobs, which is why in Europe, a new trend is coming in called Industry 5.0, which is humans and machines working together. And it's a new wave of technological revolution that is coming in, because recently a lot of activists have raised a lot of issues regarding AI replacing humans. And of course, we don't want that as researchers. We want AI to be a helping tool for us humans. Do you see that, even in software, you mentioned that new jobs will be coming up, and it has already started. For example, a job for prompt engineering is in huge demand right now, and people are paying up to 300, 400K per year for those kind of jobs, which is absolutely nuts in my opinion. But that is the world we are living in. So do you see that we can do something like Industry 5.0 type thing in software as well, where humans can use AI as a tool, not to replace them, but to improve our quality of our job?
Yes. Well, in fact, that is the fact the hope and the expectation is AI should be a tool for improve human productivity. Like for PayTalk, we say our motto is like we're focused on payments, purchases, and productivity. Those are the 3 points where we focus. So for Industry 5.0 is an ideal that I think we all should strive to sustain, and even governments should also step in and say, hey, if you're using AI, then you must follow the standards. So you're talking about standards that have to be laid out to say, for each maybe model, you must have one human supervising. So it must be corresponding human element. So that it's like a law. The laws have to come in that because if we allow just just only AI driven, without any human participation, we're going to lose two things. One, because people need to remember that AI itself doesn't necessarily create new knowledge. It's trained on what we know, what we have, So the human aspect is still very, very key. Yes, you have models that can jumble themselves and learn new things, but it's still built around the human question. So the question you asked around fields that I think in the next we should try to switch to, like you said, prompt engineering. That's a good one. So even conversational design is a skill that folks can learn, and it's in between psychology and tech.
Yes.
So we're going to see a lot of fields are going to merge. A lot of roles will go away. Like recently, I used the GPT on PayTalk to actually write the press release. I just told it generate me a press release, and it did. And it took me just 10 minutes to actually edit it. I am not even a professional content writer, but
100%.
That aspect made me more productive, so I could move on to something else.
Yes.
And the startups, we see that we're trying to save cost and all of that. So you see a lot of us using these kind of tools, but the human aspect itself is important. So so it's pretty interesting times still coming forward.
And regarding the research in conversational AI space, we have this one aspect where Jan LeCun and Fair came up, and they said that this research should be open source, and they're sort of building their Llama model. They made it open source for the researchers. On the other hand, you have OpenAI, which started as a nonprofit, by the way, and I have their founding statement here in front of me, and I quote, they said that our goal is to advance digital intelligence in the way that is most likely to benefit humanity as a whole, unconstrained by a need to generate financial return, Since our research is free from financial obligations, we can better focus on a positive human impact.
Yeah.
That was their founding statement. And now we see a completely 180 turn. And now in their recent release of GPT-4, it doesn't mention anything about the model. It's just a technological report and bragging about what the things you can do, how their research is changing the world and everything, but it doesn't help the researchers in any way looking into what's inside. And it's a for-profit company. What's your opinion on what kind of research should should be beneficial for us in the future? Open source, like FAIR is doing, or Hugging Face, or probably DeepMind is probably going to make it open source as well, hopefully, or this kind of closed source research that sort of generates profit, but you can do cool things with it, and some people are really happy about it.
Yeah, well, it's a very controversial topic, but I'll just say the bit I know that I would say there's in life, we have aspirations and then we have realities. The cost of training a model like GPT is astronomical. So
Yeah.
And then they had to bring in VCs, like you have Microsoft in there, it's putting 10 billion into this. So now you now have commercial interest. So that balancing act, I wouldn't really judge them and say, okay, oh, you guys started as this and that, but because there are some realities that they're facing we can probably know about. So but I live out there. There's other labs, like you mentioned, DeepMind, there's Meta AI that are doing interesting stuff. So basically, I'll give OpenAI their flowers. For years, since 2015, they've worked behind the doors to come up with what we have now. And now they've opened the world, the eyes of the world to what conversational AI actually can do. It has helped even small brands like us, like PayTalk. Like for 3 years, we've been talking to folks and saying, hey, you can actually, there's a better paradigm of actually interacting with, say, your grocery store by just through conversations. And folks didn't get it until when ChatGPT came out and you had all of that. So there's been a positive impact, but on the other, so now I think the onus is on the other labs to say, okay, how do we advance this? Yeah. I don't think there's anything in GPT that, let's say someone like Jan LeCun wouldn't know. I don't think there's anything there. It's transformed. Google created that stuff, actually. So I don't think there's anything there that is like top secret or whatever. It's now the question of what's the work that can be done from a different perspective. Besides, yesterday there was an article by Bloomberg on new Bloomberg GPT. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Bloomberg is taking all the data and training all the data
on financial data. Yeah.
So think about in the medical field now. If all the information that from 1,000 years of medicine, we can train models now, and eventually put those models out into say robotic devices that can perform surgery, helping a doctor. So think about how many lives we could save. Think about cancer research. If all that information that has gone through. So I think there's a lot of work for, rather than we focusing on OpenAI, okay, you guys in open source, ChatGPT, that's fine. Let's go on and build on what we already know and what we have.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that, probably there is some secret sauce there, but the underlying model, we already know that it's a transformer. They're using some sort of attention mechanism to generate all the text, and it's an autoregressive process, which means the future token is dependent on the past token, and all that stuff. So yeah, I totally agree with you that if it's instead of judging the decision, I think we need to focus on how we can move these things forward to serve us as humanity better. And now shifting gears back to your company, tell me a little bit about what is the ethos of PayTalk, and how big is the company? How many employees do you have, and how do you run the company?
Okay, so PayTalk is we are mostly a bunch of nerds who interested in like taking conversational AI. So our goal, in fact, I tell that story about the little girl who.
Yeah.
So our goal and our mission is to make sure that no one ever abandons the payment anymore because it was too lengthy or too stressful.
Yeah.
So simplifying payments and purchases while enhancing productivity. That's our motto. That's what we're here for. So the company is about 15 people. I am the CEO, CTO, and also the lead engineer on this. And I've got about 10 other engineers who are working across different fields. I am an Android engineer. I'm an iOS engineer. I'm also a DevOps and a cloud engineer. I've worked in these four spaces. And so sort of like the team, we sort of have these divisions that are around those four core areas: mobile, web, all of that. And we're still growing. We're fundraising right now. We're trying to raise our seed round. Hopefully, we would complete that soon. And we want to go more into the data and the research space, because for us, we see the future is going to be there's new startups that are going to be created from the application of all this LLM based systems. In fact, we might discover newer type of models or combinations that might beat or completely blow away what we have today. So we are focused in that line. And we're mostly the company is distributed. We're based in Canada, and the US, and most of our engineers overseas. We're in different countries, different parts of the world, remote based and all that. So pretty much that's what we are.
Awesome. That is amazing. And that's all the questions I have. Do you want to leave us with some parting thoughts that you have regarding AI or AI entrepreneurship, especially because that's what I'm sort of trying to promote in the channel, doing innovative things using AI and innovation, driving innovation.
Yeah, I would say one thing is I think we should all not panic too much about worry about the dark side of what might come out, all that. You probably heard about the 1,000 person sign, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we should be. There's a lot of good that can come out of this, and it should encourage people to come into the space. Like there's a lot. We need more AI engineers. We need more people who conversational designers, human thinkers, psychologists, all of that. So there's the key is that the usage of AI wouldn't take jobs, but there's people who use AI that will take jobs.
100%.
Remember, so it's not AI that will take jobs. It's people who use AI. So we have to ask ourselves: so what part of the spectrum am I gonna be on? If I'm a person based on my talents and my skills, where can I fit in? And I think that question opens up a lot of opportunity. And then also on the ethical side, it brings into question now we have to ask ourselves things like universal basic income would have to come back into the conversation again, because if folks are going to be, if we're going to have less to do, because AI is taking up most of the jobs, so that question comes in, then it even asks, as humans, it now brings us back to our purpose as humans, like on a philosophical side, what are we going to be doing? How are we going to spend our time? If we woke up today and everything was solved, let's say we had robots that would clean the streets and AI that was thinking for us and doing all that, as humans, what is our purpose going to be? Well, would that leave us more time to spend with our families? Would that mean we can do the things we love? Does that mean that we can create more time to focus on the things that really matter? So I think those are some of the my parting thoughts in that regard too. And then please download PayTalk. It's on the app stores. You can try it out. It's also coming out on Alexa. And pretty much.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Neji, for joining us today. And please subscribe to the channel and like and share. And have a good one.
Okay.
Solve some complex equations or some complex tasks. You want them to funnel them in a specific way and receive some desired outputs. So this is when we start searching for papers, recommendations regarding prompt engineering. Prompt engineering basically is the way you interrogate the model